I'd like to call the county commission work session to order. These are for, let's see, call order. Dr. Weeks, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Father, you're good to us. You give us great gifts. We know those come from you, and we acknowledge that. We thank you for your love for us. We thank you for your grace and mercy that you share with us every day. Father, tonight as this body comes to consider business of the county, I pray your wisdom and decision-making skills over this body. Pray that they'll make decisions that are in the best interest of everyone. Father, we ask that you'll just bless them in their lives, bless them in what they do. Father, we thank you for the privilege of living in Dickson County and serving this county in the ways that we do. We just ask that you'll be with us, be with those that are not as fortunate as we, and those who would are suffering losses in their families or suffering illnesses and other pains. Father, we just pray that you'll be with them in a special way. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Everyone stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Simpkins,
Here.
Mr. Ledger,
Here.
Mr. McElwain,
Here.
Mr. Beatty,
Here.
Mr. Dawson,
Here.
Ms. Spicer,
Here.
Mr. Buckner,
Here.
Mr. Britt,
Here.
Mr. Petty,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Mr. Grove,
Here.
Ms. Gray.
Do you have a quorum? First order of business is the approval of the August 7th, 2023 work session minutes. Open the floor for motion. Motion by Commissioner McElwain, second by Commissioner Petty. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 2 is committee reports. Any committees to report? Hearing none, next is new business, financial reports, all school funds, Board of Education Representative, Dr. Danny Weeks. I think most of you are aware of the news, Dr. Weeks and his announcement that he's going to abandon us here in a few months, and we'll discuss and have that at an appropriate time. We spend a little more time on that, but I know we got some more work to do for the next 90 days. So we appreciate the last, how many years? 11, 10, 11?
11 and 8, yes, sir. 11 years.
We appreciate that. Look forward to working with you for another 90 days.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to be here this evening and present our end of the year. These are the fourth quarter or end of the year financial reports that we have just been through the year 22-23. These are finalized. All the amendments that the board brought to you back in June are incorporated into the final reports that you received. Proud to report to you that our revenues came in at 108% of our budget. We received $81.9 million, just right at $82 million. Our expenditures were at 91% of our budget, $76 million. So if you remember the budget that we brought to you back to start the 22-23 school year, we showed that we were anticipating the possibility of having to use about $6.5 to $7 million out of our fund balance in order to show balanced numbers. Very proud to report to you tonight. Not only was there a difference of $5 million in revenues over expenses, we did not spend obviously into that 7. So actually we had a net positive turnaround of $12 million. So I'm very excited with that. That is because of a good, healthy economy. That is because our department heads and our staff have, I think, done an excellent job of managing and stewarding the dollars that we have received and taking care of those. And I'm also going to throw in, we've been the beneficiaries of several federal and state grants and several federal and state ESSER dollars that have come to our county and allowed us to put some of that money that is county money on the side and kind of hold that for other projects while we're spending those ESSER dollars. Just another recap or two, property taxes for us came in at 111% of our budget, 11.5 million. Sales tax is very strong at 19.9 million. So we're very proud of those. We track utilities to be probably one of our main expenses. It's we call it a controllable expense, but it's kind of hard to control what your utilities are. Our utilities ended up $2.7 million this year, and our diesel fuel, of course, has been pretty crazy as we've looked at that. But we spent about $515,000 on diesel fuel this year. But you have all of our reports for the quarterly reports. You can go through those line by line, and if there's anything I can help you with in interpreting those or understanding those are final. You do have our 141 general fund as well as our 142 federal funds. Federal funds are just flow through dollars that we receive from the federal government, and those are expended out. So you see that those are balanced. The $23.2 million is what we receive directly from federal government, and $23.2 million is what's accounted for there. And so that has worked very nicely. And our 143 school cafeteria fund, again, those are dollars that come to us either from the federal government or from food sales and concession sales to students while they're at school and staff while they're at school. So you see the total revenues for that with $4.6 million and right at $5 million or so in terms of expenditures from food service. So there was some expenditures there, but we've taken care of those with our budget. So very proud of all those departments for taking care of the dollars the way that they have. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any question, Dr. Weeks? Open the floor for a motion to have these put on the regular session agenda. Motion by Commissioner Britt, second by Commissioner Beatty. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Dr. Weeks, before you run off there, I know that there's been an ongoing discussion with the school board about a building plan and a building program. It's come, I know it's come back and forth. You and I had a conversation a few weeks ago about potentially having a joint session. So that could be presented to the county commission. And again, I'll let you tell me. My understanding is on your last meeting that there was no plan proposed that should be brought to us at this point. Is that accurate?
At the Board of Education's August 24th meeting, we'll go back a week or two before that, we had a planning session where the board talked about 3 or 4 priorities that have carried forth since the time that Burns Middle School was constructed. So they've been working on a building plan since the construction was completed and Burns Middle opened. At one point in time, there had been priorities for Charlotte Middle School, Dickson Elementary School, and then we've also kind of had on the side the CTE construction and the CTE building at Creekwood High School. The board considered on August 24th a plan, and they decided to do a little reprioritization because of some of the work that they anticipated doing at Dickson Elementary School was probably not going to be possible. We had a planning session last Thursday evening where architects and design teams were there, and there was a little more discussion about that and maybe possibly reprioritizing. Still looking at Charlotte Middle School as being first priority. There was discussion of moving the CTE building up in priorities. And then there was discussion of building a new central office, along with doing some large construction projects that have needed to be done, large maintenance projects that have kind of short-term needed to be done over a period of time. And we're working on bringing a final plan. The board's going to meet on the 21st of September in planning session to review those plans again. And the board will meet on the 28th of September and hopefully at that time approve the most recent version of that plan. So I think the board would probably anticipate requesting a joint session with this body sometime in October, if that's possible with this body. If not, then at the earliest convenience of the commission.
Thank you. On that, as far as a meeting, we kind of looked at some dates in anticipation of some of this being done. I think one of them was Thursday, October 12th.
Yes, sir. I believe it was. I think the commission meeting was on the 16th.
Right. It'd be
one question was maybe before that meeting, or I think on the 12th before that session.
Well, this would be a meeting just simply, but not be a regular county commission meeting, just be a meeting to, and maybe I just misunderstood you. It's just simply to meet y'all somewhere to go over the presentation
Yes, sir. The architects are working, and they would have full what I would consider design documents. I don't know the official name of those, but they would have the views and what the design and what the cost of an anticipated cost of the Charlotte Middle School project is. We would have a rough drawing. I think the commission would be very pleased. We've gone back and revisited the CTE building at Creekwood High School. And many of the questions that you had when that project was brought to you, I guess about a year ago or so, I believe have been addressed. Other than the location, we're still looking at the location of that building, because where it was anticipated originally to be placed, I think every utility that could possibly go into Creekwood High School went through that parking lot. And so that's obviously a lot of cost and just design work and civil work to either move and remove or reroute all those things, or to place the building in a different place. My recommendation was that we place the building in a different place, over to the left. And so again, I think they're going to have a presentation that would talk about that. I think we'll be prepared to talk about probably why not proceed with the Dickson Elementary School project, as once was their priority. I believe they'll have some comments about why they're not ready to proceed with that at this time. And then I've not had enough time to study the concept of a new central office yet, because that was just added in last Thursday night. And so there may be some discussion about that, but that work is yet to be done. Now, the smaller construction projects, there are several roofs that need to be taken care of. Several parking lots need to be either resurfaced or recovered. Some of them completely redone. And there are just some long-term maintenance projects that have gone undone for a while that need to be taken care of. And so that list is prioritized to some degree. I've prioritized that list. The board has not. Let me clarify that. And so I would anticipate they would have those two items for the commission. Again, whether that's October 12th, whether that's October 16th. But I think it's all going to be contingent upon their vote on September 28th.
With that information, then if y'all will check your calendars, I don't know if you have the availability to right now, but the Thursday, October 12th sounds like it might be a good tentative date, so we can hear that after y'all have met and before we come back. Again, it'd be the will of the commission if they feel like they have time to review. Would you be looking for a decision on the 16th? Or I mean, how quick? I mean, that's going to give us about 4 days to really take a hard look at it.
Understand?
Mayor, I believe that's fall break too. A lot of people probably going on vacation it.
Is it when
I
does
think first 2 weeks of October usually, right?
It is, yes, sir. It is fall break.
I do recall there was some conversation. When were your board members available? I think
I don't recall exactly their specific availability. I think there was discussion of whether to push it. I know there was some discussion of meeting prior to the regular commission meeting on the 16th, which is a Monday night. That would give us a little less time, but again, if we can get some documents to you on the 28th, and then that would give commissioners a little time to look at what they have and formulate questions for the board or for me, however you'd like to do that.
on the presentation y'all would have, how long do you anticipate that going on? I know we can make it even enough if we wanted to.
I think commissioners, I know some of you have seen the drawings of Charlotte Middle School and the conceptual drawings and the views of it. We don't have any conceptual drawings of the CTE building, but I think everybody has a concept of what that building is going to look like. Since I last presented to the commission, we've gone back and added restrooms and changed the structure of that building. So again, I'd like to have someone share those changes with you. And again, I think someone could tell you what the plans originally were for Dickson Elementary School, but the decisions to walk away from that project at this time. But it's we spent 2 to 3 hours last week discussing those, so.
Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't want that long of a presentation, so. If y'all condense it down to an hour, it'd probably be good, but seriously, the time we need, then let's tentatively look at the Monday, the 16th then, and us possibly getting here at probably 6 o'clock. That I think looking around the room, if I get some nods, I know some of you people have to travel in to get here from somewhere else. Is six ample time? Okay, I'm getting nods from most folks on there. We'll go on and I'll get something out on that, and we'll have tentatively meet at 6 o'clock in this chamber on October 16th to hear that plan.
I'll be glad to share that with them, and I can certainly send to the commissioners and you what we do have at this time, even though there is no formal plan, but it would be again some sketches of what the outside of a Charlotte Middle School renovation might look like. I don't think I have anything other than a floor plan of the CTE building at this time, but I'd be glad to share that with you. And I do know that's for 12 welding spots and construction or woodworking classroom area, shop area, if you will, with restrooms in there. But again, all I have for that is a floor plan at this time. And I'd be glad to share the short-term capital projects list that we'd look to and I think the board can comfortably do many of those short-term projects out of our fund balance if it comes in as I would anticipate.
Good. All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions in general? I know Dr. Weeks doesn't have any details on anything, so that will be from the board, but if y'all have any general questions, please feel free to ask them. Excuse me.
The only question I would have would, now that you're leaving, if a new director of schools comes in and he has a different vision and we jump on something else that a new guy wants, are we prepared now to listen to spending the money that he wants to spend in his way when you got a different way? Are we jumping to something that's really a new guy's job?
I think the plans, Commissioner Grove, that I brought to you have really been, other than the short-term capital projects, I think they have been board's plans. So when the board made the decision to go with the project at Charlotte Middle School, for instance, the board made that decision, and I brought that to you. So I don't know that I can't speak for the board, obviously, and don't know what direction and what interaction that a new director and the board would have. I mean, the board has been pretty strong on a Charlotte Middle School project, I guess, for at least 9 months or more. They spent a lot of money on design work and study work and things of that nature. So I think that's would probably still be a priority of the board, but again, without them actually voting on that project, I don't know. There was some positive discussion about that last Thursday evening, but until the board takes official action, I mean, it's opinions at this point in time until they take that official action. I do anticipate further discussion on the 21st. And again, you might have questions before then, and if you do, I'll carry those to the board for you. But on the 28th, I would anticipate them actually voting on a plan. And so once they adopt that plan, I wouldn't anticipate a new director coming in and changing the plan. But again, I don't know what that plan would be. I can tell you, Commissioner Grove, just let me add this in. The short-term capital projects, the roofs, the pavement, air conditioning in some places and things like that, a lot of that's going to need to be done regardless. And so some of those things, and again, I think those would be things that I would be bringing to you to ask to spend money out of our fund balance to take care of those. Those are going to need to be done sooner rather than later. And again, I don't think there's any need for additional funding from the commission on those items. We're talking about roofs are expensive, parking lots are expensive, air conditioning systems are expensive. You've heard the discussion about athletic turf fields, lighting on our ball fields and things like that. So I do hope that whoever comes in will see those needs. And, I think that's part of the reason that I asked for a 90-day transition as well to help while the board's looking for a replacement or an interim, so that we could have some of those conversations if needed as well. I guess I answered your question at all, did I?
I get it. I appreciate you, Dr. Weeks. And I've got to know you over the last year.
Thank
And I got a lot of respect for you. And I feel like every conversation I ever left with you, that I've left wanting to be a better person. So
Thank you.
I appreciate you and what you've done for our school systems.
Thank you.
Got something to say, I've been away pretty good while and we've had our ups and downs. But I'll tell you this, I really respect you and I think you've done a good job.
Thank you,
I
sir.
just wondering what it's gonna take for you to change your mind. Sometimes we think maybe we're going something better, but sometimes it don't work out. You ought to think about that. If
Thank you,
it's
sir.
possible for you to do.
Thank you, sir.
I know it'd make me feel good for you. And a lot of people, they're upset about you leaving, no joke.
It's not been an easy decision.
No, but I just want you to know how I felt.
Means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dr. Weeks.
sir.
Next time business is errors and double assessments. Ms. Glenda Pendergrass, we get our annual visit from you.
Can't wait for this. I know I've got some new ones on here. Thank you, Commissioner, for letting me come for you. Errors and double assessments, it's just what it is. It's mistakes that's been put on the tax rolls, double assessments, things have been assessed. If you'll look on the front page, we collected 96.70%. That was at the end of June, and I'm still collecting, of course. And then the unpaid 3.3%. So I usually turn over 300,000 or 400,000 to the clerk master. I don't like to do that, but until I can get somebody to pay for a cell phone list, and I don't know who to get that from. I'd like to, because we do call these people, not bugging them, just giving them a courtesy call, because interest and court cost and everything is a lot more when they go down there. But I'm just asking, a resolution needs to be done on it, that you all pass this forward. Do I have any questions?
Any
Because
questions?
Miss Martin rushed in here. So she's the one responsible for giving me the errors and double assessments. So she rushed in here in case y'all need to ask any questions. Any questions? Cotton, any questions? You got a question? Okay, the next item, okay, do we need to pass that?
1 second.
Okay. We're on hold.
Yes, ma'am. We just need to take this one by itself.
Yes,
The
sir.
first one. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So on that one, on the errors and double assessment, I need a motion. Thank you in a second to move this on a regular session. Motion by Commissioner Grove, second by Commissioner Williams. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed, thank you. Ms. Pendergrass, number 3, tax relief.
Okay, now tax relief. I come to you all to get a resolution on this, even though it's already been passed in the budget. That was included. It was either 106, I think it was 180,000. And this especially for the new ones, it's to help subsidize paying their taxes for elderly, disabled homeowners, veterans, and widow or widower of a veteran. Now, there are qualifications. This year, when I started, and this really dates me, I'm so sorry, but when I started, the income for tax relief was $12,000. Now the income is $33,460. That's what it's going to be for 23. And the veteran and the widow or widower income does not matter. But there are all of them, there's stipulations that I'll have to qualify for. So I'm just asking, I wanted to give each one of you a pamphlet. We are taking applications when our tax notices go out. So, and that's what we're telling people. But if you have any questions or need to call me, please feel free to do that. And I'm just asking that a resolution be passed on that.
Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Dawson. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Ms. Fairwright.
can I say one more thing?
Please.
I met with our county attorney the other day. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. I am entertaining the thought of bringing back 10 years of personal property, which it would be 2012 to 2022, 21. 12s are going to roll off in the spring, but anyway, with a 10-year, the bar. But I'm entertaining bringing them all back to my office and going to a third-party collection, American Financial Systems, unless Brian and I met the other day with the guy, if I need to get bids or whatever, but it's not going to cost the county a dime. It's simply, they will be responsible for paying everything. But I did want to just throw that out there to y'all, in case you got any questions. Brian, have you had time to look at all that? Okay, yeah, it was quite a bit. But anyway, it's not going to cost the county anything. People aren't going to be happy about it, and they're going to be mad at me. But, I am a firm believer. When I came in office, coming from a business and we pay personal property, people don't like that tax, but it's a tax. And they owe it. If they're in business, they owe it. And it is not right for some companies to have to pay it and others to just get by with it. And I'm not being ugly or anything toward the clerk and master, because they have enough to deal with in collecting for real property. But personal property kind of drops along the way. And I haven't wanted to get our sheriff involved in doing what we call distress warrants. And that's where they'd go get the equipment, and then we got to find a place to store it, and then we got to inventory it, and keep up with them. We got to have a sale, and and all that stuff. So I don't know that the sheriff wants to do that very much. Okay, I didn't think you did. I didn't think you did. But anyway, I just believe that if some pay it, everybody should pay it. And these people will go after them even if they're out of business. If their personal name and all that's on there, they're going after them. I don't care what state they're in. So just a heads up. Yes, sir.
Your personal property, how many in the rears is, how much were you talking about money?
I don't really know right now. See, when it goes down there, it's, my part's probably 200,000 or 300,000 at the most. But the clerk master, and I always want to say Nancy, because I worked with her so long, but they add court cost, summons fees, attorney fees. There's a lot of fees that are added on. Now, all that stuff, Brian, I think we're in trying to figure out, is that going to be dropped, or will that come back to my office as an additional tax? But it may not be a lot of money, but it's money.
Yeah, that's good there. Well, that just pertains to the businesses alone, right? That's not every individual that's got
it's personal property. It's on equipment,
I
et cetera.
pay personal property, but it's on my equipment and stuff.
That's exactly what I'm going after.
But but an individual, it's
No,
just bought a brand new boat or what?
Oh, no. This is equipment, et cetera, things that you use to operate your business. That's what we're looking at. And that's what's gone down there. But no, I'm not going to come.
I personally think it's sort of unfair to have one period myself.
Well, I do too. And a lot of people, but I guess Mayor Rye will have to go to legislation about that, but
Not me.
I'm pretty sure that isn't going to happen, but it's really not fair,
it's
for
not
some to pay it.
I personally have to write a pretty good personal property tax myself, so I know it.
I know you do. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Mr. Beatty does too. There's several of you all in here that do.
Let's start. When did you build?
Were you going to say something to me?
Give me back.
Oh, okay. I agree. I do agree.
I'm gonna give it very unfair.
Well, yeah, it's a state. Yeah, I guess all that would have to go through legislation and all that.
Well, see, Mayor, that's the reason you getting the big bucks. We need to do that.
I agree with you. But you know, if you get rid of personal property tax, you go to see the folks with real estate then. So which well do you want to poison?
And what we're fussing about, and probably nobody knows. In Tennessee, we're considered forestry. Forestry is considered agriculture. But we still have to pay, the farmers still don't have to pay this. We still have to pay it. It's some little loophole law. And we've all threatened to get a lawsuit and sue over this. But, you know, like I said, but in the state of Tennessee, we're considered forestry, which is
Yes,
considered
that's correct.
agriculture.
That's correct.
And we still have to pay it, which is very unfair.
Brian, is this still on the state level? It's not on the county.
No, it's a state.
State level that tells us the forester industry has to do it.
It is.
I was just throwing that out. So I didn't figure y'all would mind if we tried to collect some of this stuff. But y'all let me know if you don't want me to. Thank
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
I don't remember. Did we vote on that yet? Okay, all right.
Item 4 is getting tomorrow.
Do we?
Next work session. Tom's not ready.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm getting messages from everybody tonight. Item number 4, copy your bids for Coast Department Archives. Mr. Hall was cutting hay today, so he assigned this to Mr. Reagan. But Mr. Hall called and told him we need to pull this off the agenda because he wasn't comfortable with all the bids we received. So we will ask to move that forward to the next session. So until the next regular session. So what I'm asking for is a motion, a second, to put this on the October 16th meeting or I don't know what day is it. I'm sorry. I just had a legal opinion. We can move that to the regular session. So I'm looking for a motion to move to the regular session, October 16th. Commissioner Simpkins, Commissioner Spicer, thank you. All in favor of vote stating aye. Opposed, thank you. Item number 5, Health Department phone system, Mr. Donnie Bear. We just never know which door he's going to come in.
We got all of the county buildings are all on Comcast. We have been told now that we do not have to. We're trying to get the health department over here so we can all be on one system like it is right now. We had a smorgasbord. We're still ironing out some kinks. From my understanding, talking to Mr. Reagan, we don't really need your approval. It's just a formality to let you know what we're trying to do, get everybody pulled under the same contract. And I'll enter, if you got questions, I'll be glad to answer them if I can.
My understanding is when their contract expired at the health department, that the rates went astronomical.
They have went way through the roof. I mean, just several thousand a month. So we're fast tracking this, try to get it taken care of as quick as we can. They got some specialty phones that I'm having to work through over there for that. But hopefully we'll have it here within too long.
So you don't need commission approval, just notification. Okay. You heard that. We need to vote to move this to regular session. A motion by Commissioner McElwain, second by Commissioner Ledger. Any questions from Mr. Bear or any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bear. It's that way. On your desk, you'll find a proposal that I laid there earlier today. We've been working for quite some time with the health department, trying to come up, not the health department, the health center, to come up with a way to help them with some long-term funding. The commission funds them every year, along with the community. But what's going on over there is that program has gotten so large that one of the views on this was taking a longer term view on funding and setting up an endowment where the money could be invested and the interest earnings or investment earnings could be taken out every year to help pay for ongoing costs. one of the complaints or concerns you hear from people is when they give money to the help center, are they actually giving it to help someone, or are they giving it to pay the light bill and pay salaries? The idea behind the endowment is that eventually over time, you're hoping you'll have enough money in there, most of your operational costs will come out of that. That way, whenever you make a financial contribution, you can be assured that most of that money is actually going to help people. And I think that's why we all write a check, regardless if it's to the help center or the Red Cross or someone. And that's what the long-term goal in this. It takes a while to put a long-term goal together, and this is the first step. On the proposal, you'll see on the front page, the help center will collect money to start the endowment. What I'm proposing, Dickson County will also contribute money matching donations up to $100,000. The aim of this is to have the endowment, the initial investment of $200,000 in the beginning. They've reached out to talk to the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, and they'll hold and manage the funds. And if I think most of you are familiar with the Community Foundation, Middle Tennessee, Ms. Greer has a hand in that here locally and understands that and would be a better source than me. What they'd like to do is be able to go through the end of the fiscal year to have this fundraiser and us match these funds. Like I said, it shows there that this partnership will ensure that eventually this money will try to pay the expenses there. If you flip the page, I gave you some information on the help center. I think everyone in this room is very well aware of it. It talks about what they do and a little summary. Most of this is taken from their website and from discussions I had with them. The page after that, you'll find where the chairman sent a letter showing the board is in agreement with this. And then the last thing I placed in here, one of the more successful endowments in Dickson County is one the Clement Railroad Museum has. This is their endowment. It just really, I want to get you that because it shows the nuts and bolts of how one works and how it's set up on that. But that's basically what we're trying to propose on this. It's something we'd like to revisit every year, depending on where our finances are. As Dr. Weeks spoke earlier tonight, we know that in new revenue, I'm sorry. Thought Dr. Weeks is objecting. So as Dr. Weeks said earlier tonight, our revenue for county government is up. Well, we don't have the final number, but we know that revenue is up close to $1 million this year over last year. So we're in a financial position to do this. And that's why it was kind of timely to bring it up now at this point. So I want y'all to have opportunity to look at this. I'll be glad to answer any questions I can on this right now, but the goal is to help the help center I think we all know the different things that they do. Obviously, when we donate money and have in the past, it's to go to a service that what the question is, what would we do if this service wasn't helping? Well, we know simply at night times when people are in trouble, a deputy that's dealing with a family that's in trouble needs help, that's handed over to the help center. One, it helps people in the community, and two, it puts that deputy back on at work doing his duty. Whenever we had COVID and it came up and we had the food we needed to disperse across the community, we had other counties, mayors trying to figure out just what do we do. We had the template in place with the help center. I get to brag on them all the time. They're not an arm of county government, but they help make things move in this county. That's why I'm proposing an amount of this much so we can help people in this community. And that's what this proposal is about. I'll be glad to answer any questions or concerns you may have on it. Yes, Commissioner.
Well, why don't we set this up? And I agree with you. I think this ought to be done. Why don't we just do an MOE? Why don't we just let it come out of the general fund or whatever every year? We don't worry about making up more funds or whatever, and we could add on to the tag, or we could do a lot of things. I mean, that would be really helpful for the people. I'm
in agreement with you. And again, I'll be with you 3 more budgets. And if the numbers as they are, I'll continue to propose it every year. What they like and what we like in this is an incentive portion. We can simply write checks, but what this is also asking the community to stand up and give money to. So again, I agree with you in theory, but in practice, their goal is to go out and get 100 people to give them $1,000 or 200, give them 500. I told them I'd give them the first $1,000 so they did find 99,000 more. So that's why it was set up like that, because I understand what you're saying, and I'm in agreement with it, but this will keep the community involved to help bring them along with us while we do our part.
Do they have?
Yes.
They do. I mean, that wouldn't have to happen. And I agree with you too. I think everybody's is well off or whatever, can afford it to give, and, but sometimes, that's the hardest kind of person to get money out of, so.
I understand.
But yeah,
Commissioner Grove.
I agree with you.
How much do we give the help center now?
About $5,000 a year in direct funds.
I think this is just my opinion, and I'd like to hear the other commissioners meeting opinion on it. But we all done a big step in helping the main side earlier this year. And I believe if we can step out and we've got the funds now available to make a donation to the main society, that we need to increase that while we're able to. I would like to see us get close to what we've done with the main society, if it's possible to do it. If we can help the animals of the community which needed it, we can help the people of the community too, if we had the funds available.
Of course, when I show up to our meetings, they're glad to suggest that too. And I'm in agreement with you. And again, once we get the books closed and have the audited numbers, I think that's a good recommendation. We come back and look at it then. The numbers we have on with our books right now are just done by our finance and accounting department. So we're pretty comfortable, but before we amend the budget, in my opinion, I'd like to do it, but I think we should have those numbers by January or February. And I think at that point in time, that would be a good idea to bring back for the commission, because I agree, and no disrespect to animals, I understand the importance of Humane Society, but this is an opportunity to help people. And that's, I think, our most important duty as a county, as a government. So I agree with you. So don't mind bringing it back to you, but if you don't mind, I'd prefer to bring that in January, February, and I have real numbers.
Just passed away, so
I'm calling.
I'm all for helping the main help center. I know they do great work.
Thank you. I agree with you. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, since we're talking about this, how many grants do we have available for elderly people to need to go to the doctor or go to Nashville, whatever? Has anybody done a study on that or whatever?
Mid-Cumberland Human Resource Agency provides vans for us. We're a member of that, and we're one of the funding members of it, along with the 13 counties in Middle Tennessee. And so that there is availability through that. And it will be no surprise to you what their issue is. They're having trouble finding bus drivers. And they've raised their wages and done everything that school bus department has, but there's a greater need than there is availability. So again, if you want a part-time job, they'll put you driving today.
I'm too old.
No.
I'm too old, Mayor.
I've seen him drive.
Yeah, now if you see me drive, I mean, no, I don't need to drive. No wonder. Cindy.
Well, I'd like to open the floor for a motion to move this on a regular session. Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Buckner. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. One I'd like to add that we missed on here, but you're going to be well versed on it. Also with the finances, this is when we look at part-time pay. Commissioner Dawson usually gets a phone call on this. You probably didn't this year on part-time pay. What we're proposing on this for our part-time employees, a 50% pay raise. We've been doing a quarter in the past. It depending on where they are, it's going to equate to a 4 to 5% pay raise. The total amount for all part-time people, we don't have the final number yet. I'll get that to you, but it's less than $100,000 to do this. And we have funds to do that. Motion by Commissioner Simpkins, second by Commissioner McElwain. Any question or discussion? It depends on which position you're in.
Average or whatever. I mean, it
I-
wasn't making much, was it? $9, $10 an hour or something?
Nobody should make, I don't believe anybody's making less than $10 an hour unless they requested to keep their other benefits below anyone else, but we've moved well past that. I think I can get you the real numbers. I don't think we have anybody starting less than $10.50 an hour.
I just thinking it need to be on up there at least $12, $13 an hour, whatever. I ain't got no objection with what she said about the, hey, that's a good deal.
All right, thank you.
Larry, is that, you talking about part-time, is that like the people that clean the buildings? Are they included in that, or is that different?
Most of your work's going to be convenience center workers. And then you have several folks that work in these different departments that are part-timers. And I don't mind, I can get you the list. We're still, it takes a little while to do it simply because of changes in employment and who we actually have on that date. But I can get you a list of who they are and the departments they're in.
I have one voice and concern about there's one of the janitors that cleans the building. And wonder where the pay may could be increased or something. Are they included, are they a part-time or a?
It depends. We have several. We have one that works as contract labor over in the Dickson offices. And I think the ones here are paid, but I'd have to get you that list. I don't know where out of hand. Thank you. Can we have a motion second? Do we take a vote yet? Okay, see, I finally got one right. All right. Everyone in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 4, election, Mr. Reagan.
All right, so annually we have the election for the chair of the regular and work session meetings. And then we do a chair pro tem for the regular meeting and a chair pro tem for the work session. So it's going to be 3 different votes that this body would be taking tonight. And so the way it will work is nominations can be made without a second. And so if you place a name before this commission as a nominee, then once all nominations have been made, then we can close nominations at that point and take a vote to fill the position. And so again, the first position is for the chairman of the regular meeting and work session that's presently chaired by Mayor Ryle. And so open the floor for nominations.
I nominate Bob Ryle.
All right, so we have a nomination of Bob Ryle. Do we have any other nominations for chair of the regular and work session meetings?
I moved all nominations, cease.
All right, there's a motion to cease all nominations and for the mayor to be elected by acclamation. Is there a second to that motion? Have a second by Commissioner Britt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor vote by stating aye. Those opposed, no. Mayor Ryle is elected as chair of the regular meeting work session. The next is for the chairman pro tem of the regular meetings, and we'll open the floor for nominations. And presently, right now, that is chaired by Commissioner Simpkins. Commissioner Simpkins has been nominated. Are there any other nominations for chair pro tem of the regular meetings? If not, is there a motion to close nominations and to elect him by acclamation? All right, I have a motion to close, a second by Commissioner Spicer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor vote by stating aye. Those opposed, no. Commissioner Simpkins is elected as chairman pro tem of the regular meetings. And then the third and final vote is to elect chairman pro tem for the work sessions. And that is presently Commissioner Beatty serving in that role. The floor is open for nominations for that position. Have a nomination of Commissioner Beatty for that position. Have a second to that. Are there any other nominations for that position? If not, is there a motion to close and for Commissioner Beatty to be elected by acclamation? Do I have a second to the motion? Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor vote by stating aye. Those opposed, no. Commissioner Beatty is elected as chairman pro tem of the work session. Mayor.
Thank you, everyone. Under announcements, I know we're on my calendar. It looks like Commissioner Leisure, you may have a birthday before we see you again. You were not going to self-report? Okay. Well, hope you have a happy birthday between now and then. And I saw Ms. Gray and Mr. Williams, we did properly acknowledge your birthdays last time, and they just happened recently. Were they festive? Festive, okay. Not a lot of details. They must have really been good. Does anybody like to make any announcements? Anything going on with Community Commissioner Simpkins?
16th, September 16th. Parade is pretty much normal, what I understand. Lineup for will be out on Hayshed Road. Anybody interested in being in a parade, they're more than welcome.
Commissioner Butler.
Tennessee City Fire Department got the deed to the property on East Piney Road, and they're proceeding to build a fire station out there. So anybody got any extra money, anything you need to get rid of, well, I'm sure they would love to have some of it.
Excuse me.
Do we know where that's at on East Piney?
No, I don't know what the address is. I think Mr. Butler arranged where it's right across from his house.
They got a new address today, but he didn't tell me what it was. They went today and got that. Mine's 1519. You can send it to me if you want to, and I'll make sure they get it. Yeah.
Man, what a lively crowd tonight.
But you can send it to Tennessee City, to the fire department down there, and they'd be glad to have it.
There you go. Any other announcements? I know we're already having fun. I apologize. I meant to say something about this earlier. Luann, you able to tell us about Ronnie and his situation right now?
He had a reaction to one of the drugs they gave him. And it's put him in DKA, but he's doing good. They're getting his blood gases in order, and he has, and the trauma in his brain was all scar tissue. Thank you, Jesus. But the trauma in his brain triggered this reaction to this drug he'd been taking. So they've got him in there. They're working on his gases and all. So I hope they'll move him out of ICU tomorrow. One level was good today, but they're working on another. Thank you. I appreciate all your prayers.
Thank you for keeping us updated. And I apologize. I should have said something there in prayer time, but I know everyone in this room will keep you and Ronnie in your prayers. Any other announcements? Hearing none, the next work session meeting will be on October 2nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the Bufordale Booty Reed Junior County Commission Chamber of the Dickson County Administration Building, Forecourt Square, Charlotte, Tennessee. Have a motion, second adjourn. Thank you.